So it's been a week since the USA and Israel up the Middle East and you're still a bit confused about what the hell is going on, but you don't want to look like a thicky dum-dum in front of all your mates. Here's a quick rundown that will be beset with flaws, but I'll do my goddamn best. Just over a week ago, the USA and Israel launched a massive attack on Iran, killing its supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, prompting Iran to retaliate and fire an arseload of ballistic missiles and drones against Gulf states housing US military bases, which allowed the US and Israel to be like, fuck me, look how aggressive these guys are being, we need to launch more missiles against them, killing hundreds, if not thousands, of innocent civilians in the process, including 175 children at a girls' school. Now the thing is, when the rest of the world asked the USA and Israel why they had done this, they just went, which made countries like the UK and Spain be like, well, okay, until you've worked that out, we're not going to help you. Which prompted Trump to impose tariffs on Spain and say that Keir Starmer was no Winston Churchill. Then after a few days of thinking, the USA said, BTW, we've worked out why we've done all this bombing now. It's to overthrow the evil Iranian regime, which is comprised of religious zealots who murder their own citizens on the streets. Oops, wrong pictures. Which is true, the Iranian regime does murder its own citizens. Just a couple of months ago, it killed tens of thousands of people who rose up against the regime, which is why a huge number of Iranians celebrated the USA and Israel killing the Ayatollah. But the big question is, what now? Because the USA has tried to bring about regime change in a Middle Eastern country once every decade since the end of the Second World War. And each time it's been a fucking disaster. And it'll be a fucking disaster again, because this time the bloke in charge justifies his military interventions by releasing a TikTok showing scenes from films and TV shows like Breaking Bad and Braveheart. So yes, nobody is sad about the fall of the Iranian Islamic regime, but in a surprise to no one, it hasn't fallen, because it's a system, not a person, and it can't be bombed out of existence. But the thing is, because Donald Trump kidnapped the president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, so easily back in January and replaced him with a US puppet, he thinks he can do exactly the same in Iran. But each time the USA and Israel decide on an Iranian leader they could control, they realise they've accidentally killed them in a missile strike. Donald literally said this week, most of the people we had in mind are dead. Now we have another group. They may be dead also. So instead, the US are now arming Kurdish militants in northern Iran and encouraging them to overthrow the government, which threatens to divide Iran on ethnic grounds and lead to a massive civil war. Meanwhile, Israel has ordered 1 million people to flee their homes in southern Lebanon because they're trying to destroy the Iran-supporting paramilitary group Hezbollah, a displacement order that is exactly the same as the one that Israel imposed during their genocide in Gaza. Meanwhile, oil prices have soared because Iran has closed the critical shipping lane in the Strait of Hormuz, which means the USA has now allowed countries like India to buy Russian oil, which is going to fuel Putin's war machine in Ukraine. All the while, the innocent Iranian people are trapped between a regime that will murder them to survive and a genocidal USA and Israel who are treating them as collateral damage. Oh, and would you look at that? More documents have been released from the Epstein files alleging Donald Trump abused underage girls.